How do, everyone? Andrew here. You know, I'm always on the lookout for new anime to watch, but I have no patience. So I'm giving every new show of the 2017 lineup one episode to hook me. Welcome to Debut Review. Today's show is called The Laughing Salesman. My name is Fukuzo Moguro. Rolls right off the tongue. And people call me the Laughing Salesman. I am no ordinary salesman. The merchandise I sell is the human soul itself. Hoo ho ho ho. That's actually written in the description here. All people in this world, young and old, male and female, are lonely. I am here to fill the emptiness in all of their souls. No, I won't accept a single coin in return. As long as my customer is satisfied, that's all the payment I need. Now, I wonder what sort of customer I'll serve today. I wonder what kind of voice this character is going to have. Reading it, I kind of gave it a higher voice that kind of explored up into a falsetto a little bit. And looking at the design of this character, it looks like they might go with the creepy, high-pitched voice a little bit. That kind of a voice, rather than a down here, or, ho, 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 Jabba the Hutt bassy, or ho, 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 Green Giant, or lots of different ways. I'm most interested to see how they handle this character's voice, if it's going to be a bassy or back of the throat, phlegmy kind of voice, or if it's going to be one of those almost whispery, high in the palate voice, that kind of a thing. So that's actually what's interesting me most about this show. So let's give it a watch and see what we get. So the Laughing Salesman, Mr. Moguro, has a baritone voice. It does, kind of a very pleasant and agreeable, but something a little shifty and maybe even dangerous behind it. And it does have the occasional lilt up into falsetto. And his laugh is, starts with a high falsetto and then trails down, does that thing. Very, it's almost the male version of that stereotypical Ojo-sama laugh, like Naga does in Slayers, that, that kind of thing, only a male voice, so, that kind of thing. So, now that I've described the character's voice to you, how was the show? Before I get to the show, let me just say that I really, really, really enjoyed the opening song. I'd recommend, even if the show doesn't sound interesting to you at all, watch the opening song. It's guitar funk, something you don't. Usually you hear J-pop in these with real breathy, high-pitched female voices. This is a female sung, but it's a richer, more resonant adult sound, which I really like. And you just don't hear guitar funk a lot in anime opening. It was pretty cool. I liked it, so check that out. As for the show itself, it's interesting. The art style, as you might be able to tell from the poster, I mean, you only get one look at this character here, but all the other characters, I don't know anything about this property. I don't know if it's like based on an old serial from the 60s or something like that, but a lot of the character design and animation in general really evokes a very 70s, if not late 60s, design sensibility. If if your friends or family or whatever, oh, anime, that's the, girls with big eyes and rainbow hair and stuff, and it all looks the same. Show them this show. It's a very different design, which is always refreshing to see because, frankly, if you pick just throw a dart at your computer screen, don't do that, that's silly, but randomly pick a show on Crunchyroll, it's probably going to have a pretty similar aesthetic. Because most of the shows are modern, and most modern shows look somewhat similar. But this has a very unique aesthetic, and if I had to guess, I'd say it's probably... either it's a callback to like 70s, late 60s kind of manga, or there actually was a show or a comic strip or something way back when. It's a cool look. I like it. Of course, I'm old, so... well, older. So the show itself is okay. It's probably something I might need to see a few more episodes of to really get a handle on. It's actually interesting because the 23 minute show is 2 parts. There's 2 separate stories. So there's an A story and a B story. And it's a little Tales from the Crypt, a little Monkey's Paw kind of thing. Basically, Moguro offers people their heart's desire, and it's up to them not to take it too far. Of course, he kind of stacks the deck against them. For example, I think the second story is really the best example of that, where there's a woman who is unhappy in her life and her work, and why wouldn't she be, because her coworkers are horrible to her. We have no idea if that's deserved or not, but so she drowns her sorrows in shopping. She goes and buys expensive stuff to make herself feel better about the crappy day at work. But she has kind of bought she's foregoing, electricity and food so that she can buy new clothes or new accessories. Well, one day she's overdrawn on her credit card, so Moguro, the laughing salesman, shows up and gives her a new credit card and says, if ever you have a problem, just use this for your, it's okay to blow off some steam and relieve stress by going shopping, so please use this special credit card and you'll have no problems. So she buys a bunch of crap and feels great, and then he shows up the next morning with a team of workers who grab all the stuff she bought and repossess it. And he goes, oh, I forgot to tell you, anything you buy will be repossessed the following morning. Well, good of you to tell me that now. So now that she knows the rule, she buys stuff and it's repossessed the following morning. So she starts getting a little irritated that, it's not as much fun to buy stuff if she knows it's just going to be gone the following morning. So she goes, ooh, what if I treat myself to a spa and a massage and a pedicure and stuff like that. And so if you've watched Tales from the Crypt, you can kind of guess where that's going. So that stuff is repossessed. How do you repossess a massage? Well, I guess the way he looks at it, the laughing salesman looks at it as you bought beauty and youth, so I'm taking away your beauty and youth. So the next day she's a old hag. But I wonder how accurate the translation to this show is, because a lot of the power of these types of stories is going to be in the specific... how do I want to phrase this? The power of these stories is going to be in exactly how they're delivered. If the translation is weak, then the stories lose their power, and I'm wondering if there isn't a little bit about that here, because some of the stories are going over like a lead balloon for me a bit. It's like, oh, okay, so... Because, you know, you watch Tales from the Crypt and stories like that, and the people in them usually get what they deserve. Tales from the Crypt heroes are usually people who are bad people in the first place and get their comeuppance, right? Both people, at least in these initial stories, seem to be okay people. At least we're not shown anything to suggest that they're bad people or deserving of anything really horrible. So the Laughing Salesman doesn't work as because it's not as much fun to see average Joe who maybe is slightly irresponsible with a gift get his comeuppance. It's not as fun to watch. It's like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. The other story, if you're interested, is one guy's like, oh man, I wish there was a hostess club I could visit in the day. And the Laughing Salesman like, there is in the basement of your building, ta-da! And so he goes down there and it takes a friend down there and they're like, oh, it's so great. And then the Laughing Salesman kind of engineers it so that they want to stay and want to drink and want to stay all the time. And so they end up staying all day and getting incredibly drunk and probably get fired. And it's like, yeah, I mean, they were irresponsible about it, but you weren't helping. The woman in the last show, yeah. I mean, you do say... hey, here's a card, here are the... And you didn't tell her all the rules. Buy whatever you want. Okay. I forgot to tell you, I'm going to repossess everything you buy. Okay. And so she doesn't try to cheat the Laughing... Well, I guess she does try to cheat. It's like, well, I'll buy something that you can't repossess, like a massage. How do you take that back? So, I mean, I guess that's kind of a cheat, but the punishment didn't quite seem to fit the crime, you know? I mean, she did a whole makeover and she went out on the town and she had a date with a guy and she had a wonderful time, but she didn't lord it over anybody. She isn't like really showing off to other people. She's not trying to get back at her coworkers. So she wakes up the following morning and she's an old hag. It's not satisfying. Instead of sitting there going, ah, ha, 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 served you right, you horrible person, you sit there going, oh, well, that sucks. So I might give this one more episode, just see where it goes, see what other kinds of stories they tell. Again, I like the opening theme. I like the retro art style. Yeah, Laughing Salesman. That's is it good for a laugh? I'll see you next time.